Good evening, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom. I know we're still a little tired from our Thanksgiving turkey, but let's try that again. Shabbat Shalom. There we go, that's right. So we begin this evening by singing Shabbat Shalom to each other as we thank God for the blessing of this Shabbat. Please join me. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Let's do that together one more time. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
It is good to be together on this Shabbat. Thank you for awaking from your tryptophan comas to come and join us. We are glad you're here, whether you're joining us in the room or joining us online, to be building community together. What a blessing to be together this Shabbat. I know that some of you come here with joys that you are excited to share. Some of you come with burdens that you're hoping to share as well. Whatever you're bringing into this room is sacred and holy, and we hope we can find the gift that is Shabbat. We are going to continue with the lighting of Shabbat candles and invite Ann Goldfarb up to light these candles in memory of her late father, Gerald Berenson.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Some of you know that I like to bring poetry into the service, and in the weeks since the war in Israel and in Gaza broke out, I have been I've been exploring Israeli poetry, something I haven't done in an intensive way since rabbinical school. And so I want to share, as we continue to welcome Shabbat, a poem by the Israeli poet Zelda called Light a Candle. Light a candle, drink wine. Softly the Sabbath has plucked the sinking sun. Slowly the Sabbath descends, the rose of heaven in her hand. How can the Sabbath plant a huge and shining flower in a blind and narrow heart? How can the Sabbath plant the bud of angels in a heart of raving flesh? Can the rose of immortality grow in a generation enslaved to destruction, a generation enslaved to death? Light a candle, drink wine. Slowly the Sabbath descends, and in her hand a flower, and in her hand the sinking sun. We continue as we try and find a new song with the words of Shir Chadash, page 13.
We continue welcoming Shabbat with Lecha Dodi on page 20. We will sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha, lecha Dodi, likrat, likrat kala, penei, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha, lecha Dodi, likrat, likrat kala, penei, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'lichi la 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 lecha Dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha lecha Dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. turn to the back door to greet our Sabbath bride. Bo'vi v'shalom ha'teret ba'ala, gam besimcha uvetzola, tov emunei am segula, bo'vi chala, bo'vi chala, la 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 la, lecha doti, ligrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nikabela, lecha doti, ligrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nikabela, la 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 la, lecha doti, ligrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nikabela, lecha doti, ligrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nikabela, penei penei Shabbat nikabela.
Now that we've greeted the Sabbath bride, we take a moment to greet each other, turn to the people around you, wish them Shabbat Shalom. If you don't know them, introduce yourselves. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Baruch Hu, page 28, as we remain standing.
Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai.
We pray together in the middle of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam, the next page.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Please be seated.
We continue with the Haftarah on page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 39. We pray responsively in the middle of the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
Thy heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Malechutecha Ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam, livnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, Emar kifada Adonai et Yaakov, uga'alo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
We offer a prayer for God's protective presence, that feeling of that Sukkot Shalom, that sukkah of peace, temporary as it might be, that might protect us and all who need it, with the words of Hashkivenu on page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. 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 Ushmor tzeitenu, uvoenu, l'chaim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
We continue with the Amidah, which begins on page 46. We rise together in body or spirit.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'konei Hakol Ve'zocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei v'neihem Lema'an Shemo be'ahava Melech Ozer hu Moshiach hu Magen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol atah rav le'hoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, umatir hasurim, umekayem emunato lishem afar. Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, umi domelach, melech meimit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'emana lehachayot hakol. Baruch ata Adonai mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. We continue on page 59 with the Hoda'ah prayer, the prayer of gratitude, which on this Thanksgiving weekend seems all the more fitting. We pray together at the top of the page. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. One more poem from the Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai. I've been thinking about this poem a lot in the past few weeks, and particularly today, with the beginning of this temporary ceasefire. In this poem, Amichai talks about a peace that isn't the peace of a ceasefire, but a peace that is like wildflowers. It contains, at the end, one of my favorite lines that I think about all the time. Let peace come like wildflower suddenly, because the field must have it. This is Wild Peace by Yehuda Amichai. Not the peace of a ceasefire, not even the vision of the wolf and the lamb, but rather, as in the heart when the excitement is over and you can talk only about great weariness. I know that I know how to kill. That makes me an adult. And my son plays with toy guns that knows how to open and close its eyes and say, Mama. A peace without the big noise of beating swords into plowshares, without words, without the thud of a heavy rubber stamp. Let it be light, floating like lazy white foam, a rest for the wounds. Who speaks of healing? And the howl of the orphans is passed from one generation to the next. As a relay race, the baton never falls. Let it come like wildflowers, suddenly, because the field must have it. Wild peace. We continue with our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. Ki hata hu melech Adon lechol Shalom, ki hatahu melech Adon, lechol hashalom, shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam, shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Hamcha
take a few moments now for silent prayer. And if you can't think of what to say, make a list of 5 things you're grateful for today. I promise it will change your life.
On this Thanksgiving, we offer this prayer, another prayer of gratefulness to God. For each day I live, my God, for each day I live, I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful, grateful each day I live. Join me. For each day I live, my God, for each day I live, I'm grateful. I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful, grateful each day I live. I am gifted by your glory. I am lifted by your love. I am grateful, grateful. Every day I live, I am grateful, grateful. Every day I live. For each day I live, my God, for each day I live, I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful, grateful each day I live. For each day I live, my God, for each day I live, I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful, grateful each day I live.
We turn to page 259 as we prepare to offer a prayer for the state of Israel. I feel on this Shabbat some small sense of relief to know that there are captives who have been returned home. And I hold in my heart how hard these weeks must have been for them, how hard these weeks continue to be for the many, many still held, how much more we have to do. We offer these words. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And we say together,
Amen.
Turn our prayerful energy now to page 253 as we think of those in our lives and community who are in need of healing and wholeness, who need a refuah shlema, a return to something whole, even if that wholeness is different than what they had before. We think of those whose pains we see and know, and those whose pains and illnesses we can never see and never know. Those who struggle with chronic pain and chronic illness, those who struggle with addiction, and those who are in recovery. We send our love also to the caregivers who offer some of their wholeness to those in need. In our community, we're thinking of Barry Balkin, Charlotte Berkowitz, Kathy Borden, Melba Berman, Eileen Sirsansky, Robert Cohn, Stephanie Cousins, Kathy Ellinger, Barbara Fenton, Milton Butch Frank, Carol Friedman, Marcine S. Goldman, Chuck Green, Jerry Halfant, Roxanne Harrison, Joyce Halfrecht, Terry Hazelwood, Robin Hodgkins, Lenny Holzbrand, Christina Howard, Sarah James, Susan Johnson, Simon Kim, Byron Lee, Daniel K. Levy, Lawrence Levy, Betsy Lewis, Samuel Lewis, Chuchi Liu, Karen Mendonça, Philip Merrill, Stuart Miller, Amanda Musselwhite, Dahlia Natan, Magdalene Pessin, Jeff Plastrick, Hattie Reese, Neil Reisman, Carol Reingold, Sydney Rogan, Richard Schatz, Ann Runsevel, Dawn Silver, Edward Simmons, Lori Smith, John Solaz, Andy Ward, Lenny Weinberger, Brandon Weinreb, Roberta Weiss, Yvonne Zients, Ariella Shrom Bat Yafa Shoshana, Gelka Nechama Bat Lebachaya, Noach Ben Binyamin, Sarah Bat Yosef Emma, Shana Yosefet, Shimshon Ben Fagel, Yehoshua Mat Tityahu Ben Yaakov Prevachana, and Yosef Azezel Bat Herschel Vzelig, and all who are suffering with afflictions of body, mind, or spirit, we offer these words of healing and hope.
Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen, and let us say, Amen.
A few announcements for this Shabbat. Sunday, December 3rd at 10:30 a.m., we invite you to join the Helfman Religious School community and Rabbi Hayon for a conversation called Joy in a Time of Worry, Donuts, Mimosas, and Conversation, to discuss celebrating Hanukkah, a time of joy and light in a time of increased anti-Semitism. Make your plans now to join us on Wednesday, December 6th at 7 p.m. to hear our annual endowment speaker, Jonathan Safran Foer, novelist and proud Jew. Jonathan will discuss his fiction, his nonfiction works, as well as sharing his own story through the lens of being Jewish. I've heard Jonathan Safran Foer speak before. He is fascinating, and we hope you'll join us. You can RSVP at emmanuelhouston.org. And as part of our Hanukkah weekend, Music at Emmanuel presents Spike Krause, teacher, composer, and joyful artist, to brighten our Hanukkah Shabbat and Havdalah celebrations. We hope you will join us that weekend for many of those events. Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday evening, and Sunday morning. There will be many opportunities to learn with and sing with Spike. It's an old story, one of my favorites growing up. Perhaps you've heard it too. The poor farmer goes to the rabbi with a complaint. He lives in a one-room house with his wife and many children. Everyone is always complaining and nagging him. He is sick to death of them. What should he do? The rabbi asks, "Do you have a cow?" "Yes, I have a cow." "Well," says the rabbi, "bring the cow into the house with you." Now, who's the man to argue with a wise rabbi? So he brings the cow into his tiny house. A week later, he's back in the rabbi's office. Things are worse now. On top of the whining and complaining, now there's mooing, and I keep bumping into the cow when I'm making my breakfast. What can I do? Do you have any chickens? Yeah, I've got chickens. Then bring those into the house. So he does. A week later, he's back again. Now there's complaining and nagging and mooing and clucking, and the cow keeps stepping on the chickens. Do you have a donkey? I got a donkey, let me guess, bring him into the house. Exactly. 2 days later, the man is back in the rabbi's office, well past the end of his rope with all the complaining and nagging and mooing and clucking and braying. I've been kicked 17 times. The rabbi thinks for a long while. Then he says, take the cow and the chickens and the donkeys out of the house. Gratefully, the man does just that. A week later, he's back in the rabbi's study. He says, I just want to thank you. It's so quiet in my house now. I love my children. Everything's so clean. I've not been kicked in days. What a relief. See, says the rabbi, things could always be worse. In this story, it could always be worse is presented as one of the Jewish people's secrets of survival. No matter how bad things get, the Jewish people can endure by reminding ourselves that things could always be worse. And suddenly, like the bedraggled father in the story, the realization is supposed to remind us that maybe things aren't that bad. I often find myself leading services on Thanksgiving weekend, which means I give the annual Thanksgiving sermon. I looked back this week and I've preached about today's exact parsha, Vayetze, in both 2017 and 2020, and I talked about Thanksgiving both times. Maybe someday I'll publish a book that's just my gratitude sermons. It's fitting because anyone who knows me knows that gratitude is an important part of my Jewish practice. You may well have heard me give a sermon extolling the benefits of gratitude. You may have heard me talking about the psychological experiments that have shown that a practice of gratitude can increase our happiness and improve our health. You may have heard me preach about how gratitude can help us to overcome challenges in our lives, how it moves us from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. You may have heard me tell the story of my mother, whose daily practice of gratitude helped her to navigate her journey of living with and eventually dying from cancer with grace and love and light. You've all heard me introduce silent prayer by saying that you could make a list of 5 things you're grateful for today, accompanied by my promise that it will change your life. And I stand by all of that. A daily, intentional practice of gratitude has transformed my life and helped my family to navigate difficulty. Gratitude, I believe, works. And yet, this message feels harder to deliver this year. With all that's going on in the world, with the images of death and destruction in Israel and Gaza, while the immense weight of anti-Semitism abroad and at home weighs on me, my annual sermon where I disclose my simple secret to a happy life feels harder to authentically deliver. My heart is hurting. My heart is exhausted from so many weeks of hurting, and maybe your heart is too. How can one talk of gratitude when one is suffering? And maybe I'm supposed to tell you it could always be worse, but I don't want to. Because I don't want you to mishear me and think that I'm saying that things are not that bad. We should be honest about our situation. Things have been worse. The Nazis have not taken power. They're not coming to our doors to round us up. But that is a cheap comfort. Just because things could be worse does not negate the fact that they are bad. I hear this, it could always be worse thinking in pastoral conversations. It comes out in one of 2 ways. Sometimes someone might say, yeah, Rabbi, I know this looks bad, but there are people who are way less fortunate than me. Or they say, how can I complain when in truth I have so much to be grateful for? These comments come from a heartfelt desire not to wallow, from an honest recognition of our privilege and gifts. But I cannot help but hear in these statements something deeper too. Maybe it's a defense mechanism. If I can name the good things in my life, it will prevent me from feeling this pain. Or maybe it's an expression of guilt. If I have so much to be grateful for, then why am I hurting? It's a short leap from, it could always be worse, to, I don't have any right to complain. Gratitude is not a shield from pain. It's not bubble wrap we can drape over ourselves to protect us from life's slings and arrows. Our suffering is real. Our experience of pain is not determined by how much pain other people are in. You can be heartbroken even when there are people who have it worse than you. You can be depressed even when you are surrounded by blessings. And if my endless messages of gratitude over the years have ever come across denying your right to feel pain and sadness, I apologize. We do have a lot to be grateful for. And sometimes we suffer. One does not negate the other. We must hold both truths. And we can acknowledge our pain without denying the pain of others. In fact, the acknowledgement might even make us more sensitive to them. There's a story in this week's Parsha that I don't usually talk about. I haven't talked about in my previous two Vayetze Thanksgiving sermons. Usually I talk about how Leah named her fourth son Judah, saying, Hapa'am odeh et Adonai, this time I will thank God. Usually I say that this shows how she shifted her thinking from focusing on her hardships to focusing on her blessings. But this is only part of the story. Her life does not get a whole lot better after the birth of her fourth son, the one she names Mr. Gratitude. Even with her newfound thankfulness, Jacob still doesn't love her. He still lives in Rachel's tent. Life is still hard. Then in the next chapter, there's this strange scene. Leah's eldest son, Reuben, the one who she named God Sees My Pain, is walking through the field when he spots some mandrake plants. Ramban says that the mandrake has a pleasing, almost intoxicating odor. Maybe the mandrake has the power of a love potion that might make Reuben's father finally fall in love with his mother. So he picks them for Leah. Rachel spots her sister with the mandrakes and begs her to share them. Leah refuses, saying, "You've stolen my husband, and now you want my mandrakes too." Rachel suggests that in exchange for some of Leah's mandrakes, she could send Jacob to Leah's tent that night. But wait, why does Rachel want the mandrakes? She doesn't need a love potion. She already has Jacob's affection. But she's been barren. Perhaps she has noticed Jacob spending more time with Leah and her boys. Perhaps she felt him slipping away from her. In this short exchange, I read so much pain. Leah's pain of being married to a man who did not love her. Rachel's pain at being unable to deliver a child to her beloved husband. Both women are suffering. And maybe in that moment they really see each other for the first time in years. It's not a competition about whose pain is worse. I am in pain, and so is my sister. Maybe for a while they just sat and wept together. And only then was Rachel able to see a way forward. Maybe we can share the mandrakes. I'll take some and you take some. And maybe we can share Jacob too. I'll take him tonight and I'll send him to you tonight, and tomorrow send him to me. In this story, it's not the act of gratitude that helps them experience abundance. They only find it when they sit for a moment in the pain, when they stop denying that things are hard. There's an old joke about a Jewish passenger on a train who won't stop complaining. "Oi, I'm so thirsty! Oi, I'm thirsty!" he says over and over again until finally another passenger says, "Here, have some of my water. Just please stop moaning." The old man takes a drink, and for a few minutes he's quiet, and then he says, "Oi, I was so thirsty!" The joke, I guess, is that Jews love to complain. Well, not complain exactly. We love to kvetch, that wonderful Yiddish word. A kvetch is different than a complaint. A complaint focuses on the sorrow. Woe is me, who will come and fix this for me? A kvetch focuses on the injustice. This is not fair. I'm in pain and it's not fair because life isn't fair. And a kvetch is communal. There's a rhythm and a music to it when we share our kvetches with others. Anyone who's been around a group of old Jews knows that music. We call it an organ recital. This organ hurts and that organ hurts. Kvetch offers a bit of humor. The food was cold and the portions were small. And a kvetch has an element of hope. Maybe there's a way out of this. It will not always be this way. That's a kvetch, more than a complaint. A kvetch acknowledges injustice. It helps us feel less alone. It inspires humor. It rekindles hope. In this time of darkness on this Thanksgiving weekend, I want to offer a defense of the kvetch as the underappreciated companion to gratitude. Gratitude can not end our suffering. Gratitude can help soothe our pain and increase our resilience, but we don't get there by ignoring the pain. A gratitude that denies our suffering cheapens both. A kvetch is a Jewish way to reassert the truth of our suffering. Sure, things could be worse. Sure, things may well get better, but in this moment, I am hurting. And if I acknowledge that, if I really look at it, instead of looking past it, it will open my heart to the suffering of those around me too. My sister, my brother, my neighbor who is also hurting, maybe more, maybe less, certainly differently, but if my pain is real, so is theirs. And then we can look for things to be grateful for, not to erase the pain, but to lighten the burden. I am suffering, and I am also surrounded by people who love me, and I have privilege, and I am safe. Not but, and. Perhaps the true secret to Jewish resilience is identifying both the tragedy and the gratitude. We are the descendants of Reuben. God sees my pain. And Judah, I will thank God. We're the people of the blessing and the kvetch. In this season of Thanksgiving, I pray your burdens are not too heavy. And I pray that your blessings are abundant. And I pray that in naming both, you find light and resilience and hope. Shabbat Shalom. We continue on page 282 with the words of Aleinu. We invite you to rise in body or in spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim umishachavim umodim livnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Page 287. Ve'nemar ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihei Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death. We take a few moments now for silent memory. Think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. Our hearts go out in sympathy to the families of Anita Golden Suprin and Lynn Turner, who were laid to rest in recent days. We also recall the yard sites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Stanley Aronson, Carl Adato, Lizabelle Bayer, Ali Babender, Joe Barvin, Esther Schultz Barvin, Frida Bauer, Shirley Elaine Cantor-Becker, Gerald Berenson, Leon Blonstein, Leonard E. Blumberg, Gussie Brockstein, Jeffrey Brooks, Philip Brooks, Reva Burstein, Isidore Calderon, Kurt Karsh, Selma Coburn, Saul Cook, Morris Edelson, Marilyn Elitzak, Lillian Farr, Ruth Feld, Ronald B. Feldman, Sam Felt, Louis L. Fisher, Jill Friedman Fixler, Bob Friedberg, Ellis A. Frieden, Sarah Frosch, Michael Ginsberg, Morris Gillespie, Paul Glicken, Zachary Goodwin, Vivian Greenfeld, Dave N. Grossberg, Etta Hirsch, Max Jacobson, Minnie Jacobson, Ann Josloff, Rabbi Robert I. Kahn, Miss Fega Karish, Dr. Raymond H. Kaufman, Martin Kaufman, Stephen Keeler, Esther Kern, Philip L. Klein, Eva Kleinfeld, Victor Scott Knies, Philip H. Cole, Amelia Goodman Crone, Ruth Vin Hendler-Lack, Nathan Lambert, Saul Liebman, Sadie Levine, Jacob Levy, Abba Lipman, Max Lipschitz, Charles Lipton, David Littman, Martha B. Loeb, Faye Mazer, Larry M. Masson, Morris Mendelovitz, Louisa Mayer, Dean Mayers, Rhea Mayerson, Selma G. Miller, Donna Moore, Solomon Nadler, Lillian Nathan, Miriam Nelson, Betty Pellenberg, Celia Pesikoff, Jerry J. Ribnick, Eve Reisenberg, Louis Rubenstein, Mildred Mimi Rubin, Roberta Safir, Robin Sagian, Lester Salzberg, Maury Sankary, Edith Sazin, Evelyn Knight Shackman, Alfred Shield, Michael Schnur, Jacob Schultz, Jeanette Scheinberg, Samuel Sandy Simkin, Ruth Skolnick, Richard Slavin, George Y. Smith, Kathleen Webb Smith, Robert Smith, Isidore Spitz, Tony Stern, David Stern, Sam L. Stolben, Ida Shavzin Tankel, Murray Taylor, Laura Tepper, Pamela Ann Terry, Fruma Tunitsky, Gussie Vogelfang, Sally Glover Waldenberg, Abe Walter, Hilda Wasserberg, Harold Weiser, Benjamin Wexler, Charles Winokur, Herbert J. Winter, Marcos Wolowski, Emmanuel Wolf, and Isidore Yonit. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. We turn to page 294 and rise together as one community for the words of Mourner's Kaddish. It Kadal V'it Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach Chirutei V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chaye Chon V'yamechon V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'galau V'zman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivorach Le'olam Umei Amaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei D'Kudusha B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'ne'emata, tamiran be'ama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen.
Oh, say shalom, bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru. Amen.
You may be seated as we turn from Kaddish to Kiddush, which can be found on page 5 as we offer this blessing for the sanctity of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziyat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. We offer one more prayer for peace as our closing song, which can be found on page 353, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Please rise for the closing benediction. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God, God of our ancestors, God of Leah and Rachel, God of Reuben and Judah, God to whom we can point our gratitude and offer our thanks, God who hears our kvetching and holds us in our suffering. May we not be blind to our suffering or the suffering of those around us. May we not close our hearts where there is pain. And may we not be blind to the many blessings that surround us. May they help to keep our hearts open. We thank you for the many blessings in our lives, and we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.